Hey YouTube, this is Scarecrow Kaiser. I am a little bit late posting, so I wanted to post it sooner, but obviously we've all been busy for like the last week or so. But I'm gonna get this done. This will be the first of one of my Pale Moon profiles I'm gonna do now that the structure deck has come out, or what do you call it, trial deck. Um, so Gonna get started. This will be the Stride Beast Tamer deck profile. So, I'm gonna get started with the grade 3s. First, we have for Harry. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I like him. He's a well designed, whatever you want to call it, like a break stride type unit. Um, Whenever you stride with him, you can counterblast, soul charge, call something, give it +5, it goes back. Um, the cost is reasonable, I think. Obviously, you get the toolbox out anything you want, and it gets +5, so it's big and it will make a strong column. As well as, I think it's actually a bonus that the card goes back to the soul. That way, that card runs away, so it's away from danger of your opponent's cards like Kagero, etc. And it's back in the soul so that you can utilize it every turn to utilize its effect, like if it has an on call effect from the soul or something like that. And by going back to the soul, you're able to call it out again next turn so that it will be big with the +5. So, very good skill there. And his GB2 is pretty cool too. When he attacks and you call something out, and it gets +3, that +3 matters. He's a very cool card, I like him. So, my next grade 3 is for Bunny Queen Beast Tamer. So, when you ride her, you take a card in your deck and put it in the soul. So, she's a really cool like backup because she'll put anything you want into the soul. And she has a limit break where for every Beast Tamer unit, you can counterblast 2, and then for each one you have, you call that many, so she can fill up the field. And there's another unit in the deck that's also a Beast Tamer, so if you get her and like another guy, you could call it like 2. If you get 2 of that one, you could call 3. So if you had like 2 of it in the front and her, then you could fill up the back row or whatever. She's pretty cool. But in this build, I'm running 9 grade 3s. I'm playing one of the Break Ride Miracle Pop Ava. I'm doing this because with this deck not having a grade 1 Stride Assistant, it needs a little bit more grade 3s, I felt, to stride consistently. So yeah. And of the options that are out there, I liked Ava a lot. There have been games where like riding Ava is pretty good if you can't ride Harry first, because she'll soul charge early game every time she's attacking. So there have been some games where I was struggling for a while because I rode her and I wasn't getting anything to happen. I just got some strides off, and then I drew into Harry and I was like, oh cool, I can break ride and then combo off Harry and Ava's skills when I do the attack. So for the grade 2 lineup, I'm playing 4 of the GB1 12k attacker, who is a Beast Tamer. So very cool, very helpful card. She's a good attacker, she makes good numbers in the deck, and she's a Beast Tamer. Then I play kind of like 2 more 12ks. Jumping Jill. When she's called out of the soul, she gets +3 that turn, so for the turn she'll be a 12k. So she's kind of doing the same job as her. She's not as good, but then I run 3 card dealer Jacqueline. I think that's her name. Yeah, Jacqueline. So she's pretty cool. She's one of your when you attack GB1 counterblast 1 do something. She calls a card out of the soul. So she's a very cool card, and I like her a lot. I don't run 4 of her though because her power is a little bit lower than what the deck kind of needs a lot of the time. That's why there's 12k attackers, or 6 of them. And she's another counterblast, and the deck does counterblast a lot, so I didn't want to have too much cards that need counterblasting. I then play one misdirection. If she's in your soul and you call something, she can jump back out and then end the turn go back. So she's like a free body on the field. She's got low power, but with things like when you call something out of the soul and give it +5 off of Harry, that doesn't really. She kind of fixes that. And then I have one more one of Mirrored Demon. He's low power, but if he hits, he can counterblast and tag out, which is very threatening. I only play the one of him, though, because I just like him as an option in case he ends up being there. He's a threat to your opponent that puts pressure. And in this deck, you'll see I have several kinds of one-ofs. And that's because Pale Moon is a toolbox deck, where you just use your soul as a toolbox of options, like which card of these options is the best for that situation. So having a variety of options makes it even more potent. So, and yeah, as just with misdirection, his low power doesn't matter if you call him out and give him the +5 or whatever, or the +3. So for my grade 1s, since I ran 9 grade 3s, I play just 13 grade 1s. Play 4 perfects, 3 purple trapeze. I think 4 is excessive. I don't think you see it enough if you play 2, but 3 runs pretty good. I play 2 egg juggler, which is my favorite grade 1 in the clan, hands down. When you call her out, you can soul blast and draw. So if you're calling her off Harry, she's an 11k boost. So if she's boosting like any of the 12k attackers or a grade 3, she's hitting a good number, and she gives you a +1, then she runs away so you can do it again and again. So I really like her. I also play 3 jumping Glen. When she's called out of the soul, she gets +3, so she'll be a 10. So behind a 12k or a grade 3, like an 11 or higher, she hits 21, and if you call her off of Harry, she'll be a 15k booster that turn, so she can boost like anything and make a good number. And if she boosts like, again, an 11k or higher, now your opponent has to guard like 20, so very good. Cool. And then I play one more grade 1, another one of. The bunny, he's just like Misdirection, but he's a grade 1. If he gets in the soul, it ends up being really cool that I have him as an option, that he'll just come out and be a free booster, like basically every turn, because I'm always calling things from the soul. So that's what he does. He's like a free booster that just jumps out and then runs away. For the zeros, the starter I use is the new starter, Happiness Collector. She's a little bit slower because she's a GB1, but once you call something out of the soul, she moves to the soul, you soul charge, and you draw. She's very cool. I like her a lot. The fact that she gets out of the way, as well, like replacing herself and soul charging, like between her and Harry, it's the most soul. Those are the main soul chargers of the deck, and she's cool just because she gets out of the way and replaces herself. You end up doing a lot of cool combos based off her. And for the triggers, we have 12 crit, which is really, I feel like, the best way that you can do it in Pale Moon right now. And then obviously 4 heal. I think the 12 crit is the best way. Stands, you can do things with them, but they're kind of really awkward and difficult to get to work correctly. Draws, the deck generates card advantage out of calling from the soul, and then have things that also draw, and you soul charge, and it just ends up being too much. And the 12 crit really hits hard, so I think 12 crit is definitely the way to play Pale Moon right now. Well, at least this kind of deck. Last, to talk about the grade 4 lineup, it's 2 Blizza, 1 Atmos, 1 Clifford, and 4 Amanda. So Amanda's like the main one you utilize. She's on hit, soul charge, call a card, give it +2, end of turn it goes back. Again, the fact that it goes back is actually a bonus. So she does what Pale Moon does, she creates pressure off of her attacks. Clifford is not that helpful, honestly. He's another option. He's kind of like having 5 of her, but he's not as good a version of her. The card he calls stays, which it's not terrible. It's just it helps the deck more if the card actually goes back. I almost I don't think I've ever really had to use him. Sometimes you'll want to, so that he'll bring out an interceptor. And the interceptor will stay there at the end of the turn, so you can use it to defend. But the one Atmos is just to, if you need it to hit pressure, hit in a good attack earlier in the game. And then 2 Blizzas because like they can just kill the opponent with their massive power. But yeah, so that's it for that, and that's it for the deck profile. I'm gonna post some other builds, like alternative versions, using the new stuff. But thank you for watching.